The US has a very strong advantage right now in the current internet-based financial system. It needs to use that advantage very quickly to generate base assets that are highly reliable. Those highly reliable base assets ideally would be made even more reliable through things like proof of reserves, proof of composition, proof of liability, proof of solvency, all these different proof ofs. That would make them even more attractive to the global market because, once again, the reliability and the fraud-proofness of assets is one of the key qualities that differentiates one financial system's assets from another financial system's assets. And then once those assets exist and they're created in this attractive, hyper-reliable state, you then need to automate compliance. You need to automate the process through which you can access all of these assets. How do you easily and efficiently buy the base asset? If you automate AML KYC compliance, if you automate various accounting practices, if you automate various valuation practices, if you automate various fund administration and other practices, then the acquiring of the asset, the holding of the asset, the maintenance of the asset becomes low. This reduces friction, and the lack of friction is what will allow more capital to flow from outside the US, buy this asset, and either hold it or repackage it for resale in another financial system, which is fundamentally what every financial system, including the US, wants. They want their financial system to be the place where the base asset is generated, and then they want capital to flow in from outside of their financial system, acquire the base asset, and put it in the other system. And how many times it gets wrapped and rewrapped and repackaged from there doesn't matter as much. That can even be done by teams that are based outside the US. Because fundamentally, the more US assets they are able to successfully wrap and repackage and sell, the more demand there is fundamentally flowing back to that issuer of the base asset, which in this case would be, the big US banks, the big US asset managers, US fintechs, and so on. To get to that point, you need to make it very comfortable for banks, asset managers, fintechs to issue those assets in the US system. And then you would eliminate the friction that exists for acquiring the asset and repackaging it and wrapping it and giving it into other financial systems. If you do those three things with the massive advantage the US currently has, then that advantage can continue into the future.